Hello, I'm FalconFlare2000 and welcome to a World of Warships video. I had a great video planned for you guys today. You see, I've got this folder of special replays. Whenever something interesting happens in a battle, I'll copy the replay into the folder. I was going to put together a great montage of footage from those replays. Leave it to Wargaming to break compatibility with older replays right before I made this video. Thanks guys, thanks a lot. So instead I've got some emergency content in the Blyskawica. Yes, that is how you pronounce it. I'll put a link to a pronunciation guide in the description. So, Blyskawica, a tier 7 destroyer. This is not the best match to be in. It could be worse. I am bottom tier, but there's only 2 tier 9s on each team. Most of the team is tier 8, only 1 higher. The Blyskawica is the only Polish ship in the game. It's a, as I said, a tier 7 destroyer. So, it's a gunboat destroyer. It is fast. It's got 7 guns and 4 turrets. The front turret is a single turret with all the others being double. The torpedoes have an 8-kilometer range and they're mounted in 2 centerline triple launchers so they can fire on either side of the ship. Now, the Blyskawica technically has torpedoes with a longer range than its detection range, but it's not really useful for that. The torpedoes have a range of 8 kilometers and you're detected within 7.6. 400 meters is not a big enough margin of error to really make use of that. So, as you can see, most of the team is heading toward, in fact, all of the team is heading towards the B and D capture points, while I'm the only one heading for A. So, I'm going to try and capture it, but if there's anything other than one enemy destroyer over here, not going to be able to. And already we've got some aircraft. They will be there for a while. They're a constant nuisance throughout this game. The guy seems to like me. I guess the aircraft carrier has a fondness for Polish destroyers. I don't judge. And there's an enemy destroyer. Now it's a Japanese destroyer, so it shouldn't really be able to do a whole lot. But it does. Now, here, I get a bit lazy here. You'll see several times I zoom out, holding right click, which holds your aim relative to the target. So I'm not focusing on aiming, and I miss a few shots. This guy, he's good. He's varying his speed, and he is probably using that module that gives you, a lot of additional engine power when you're moving slowly. But I do eventually get him, although I'll start to take shots from an enemy cruiser around now. So at this point, it's aircraft, enemy destroyer, enemy cruiser. I have to get out of here. So I have to kill this guy and get out of here. So at this point, he starts turning towards me. I'm surprised I haven't been hit by torpedoes yet. I haven't been doing a very good job of maneuvering. But this guy only takes a few more salvos, and then he's gone. One more shot. No, not quite. Set him on fire, though. And gone. Now, I know I can't fight this guy. They're with aircraft overhead threatening to spot me, and an enemy cruiser over there on full health. I gotta get out of here. If it was a battleship, maybe. But not a chance with this guy. Elsewhere on the map, you can see that the captures are even. Each team has 1 point, 1 capture point, although our team is capturing the D point. I guess that's what happens when all of you go over there. So I take this opportunity to fire some torpedoes at this guy. I know they're not going to hit him. He's out of range, although he's sailing into range. But just to mess with him, although they do overlap some. Our battleship over there, who's just in front of me, hanging back for no good reason, is getting pounded by aircraft there. It looks like 4 squadrons. So, I know I'm not going to be able to kill this guy, but I do want to delay his capture as long as possible. This will be important later. The points in this game do come right down to the wire. So I start shooting at him to delay his capture, although he does sail out of the capture point here just for a second or two, easily avoiding those torpedoes I just launched, using his, what's the term again? WSD hacks? Yeah. Not a battleship, I suppose, though. So I start firing at this guy, he sails back into the capture point. This should delay his capture somewhat. And the aircraft carrier, one of our aircraft carriers, seeing the threat on the flank, does send a squadron of torpedo bombers to kit this guy, and one of them does hit. Although I believe that squadron pays the price for it, judging by those fighters. So I keep firing at this guy, but you can see there's also a destroyer in here now, so and I do not have a shot at him, so there's another target that's earning capture points that I cannot reset because I don't have a line of sight. I almost run into this island here. No. That would have been a mistake. So this guy, you can see the capture is progressing, and even though I'm resetting it, nothing to do. So we've captured the other point, though, so we currently have an advantage in capture points. And our aircraft carriers are moving over in that direction as well, seeing that the gameplay is shifting over to that side. And the fighters are back. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm spotted by these guys for a while. So interesting thing about the anti-aircraft here. So there's two little machine guns on top of the bridge, but the main anti-aircraft guns are the two that are next to the torpedoes. I believe one of them is currently destroyed from that encounter with the enemy Japanese destroyer. So something I've noticed about these while we're getting shot at here is that it makes sense that that first 40mm Bofors that's just behind the smokestack can only fire in a 270-degree arc focused on the rear of the ship, because you can't shoot through the smokestack. But it seems like the second one that's between the two torpedo tubes is also bound by that same cone of fire, which doesn't make sense. It should be able to fire in almost any direction except directly forward. Bug? I don't know. Anyways, I launched some more torpedoes here. I thought that enemy destroyer might be coming up north, maybe get a lucky hit on him, but he doesn't end up doing that. It's at this point that an enemy cruiser starts to threaten our capture point. So, got to go back to deal with that at that point. Our team is very far over, all the way over at the D capture point. And so they have to turn back around to come over to this guy. So I start firing at him. Unlike the American destroyers, this ship has a good firing arc, even at longer ranges. Doesn't stay in the air so ridiculous for such a ridiculous long time. And this guy isn't going to be shooting at me. His turrets are turned the wrong way, and he's got much bigger problems in the form of some battleships over there that are firing at him. Seeing if I can get the kill on this guy. Might be able to. But a battleship jumps in and takes it at the last minute, I think. But another destroyer has popped up in the A capture point, so it's still over there. Or the B capture point, sorry. So there's at least one destroyer in the B capture point. I know that much. So start to head over there. He's about to capture and we can't see him, trying to get inside the point so that we can retain control. But it turns out that's not necessary. He shows himself, and it's an American. So this would be a problem, except he's on even lower health than I am.
Torpedoes to port.
That looks like that cruiser did launch torpedoes, however, before he died. So there are two destroyers here, a Japanese destroyer and an American destroyer. So I take out the bigger threat first, and now I'm in the capture point. But we have lost it. They did end up capturing it. So the Japanese destroyer pulls his smoke, and well, it's a smoke screen, so it launched torpedoes, and it's able to set this guy on fire.
Torpedoes direct front.
And he puts it out. So now I can't see this guy, and there are more aircraft above me yet again. So I turn on the anti-aircraft. So this guy, I'm right next to him, so I turn away from him at this point. I've noticed that if you're at close range fighting an enemy destroyer, it's usually easier to avoid the torpedoes when you turn away rather than turning in towards him. So now there's just a mass of fighters over here. They took down Allied fighters, and most of them go away except for a few that stay around here. So jump back into the point to recapture it. So the teams they have more capture points, more points as a whole. So sends another fighter back to keep spotting me. I think it's the same guy too. But a cruiser comes over here. The Kutuzov says, "Come to me." So I do that, and it works. So recapturing the point, got some of the fighters. The Kutuzov's anti-aircraft opens up and rips them to shreds. So at this point I have a choice to make. So there's no more enemies at the A point. But the few remaining ships we've got, that our allied destroyer is about to get killed. So we've got the Kutuzov, our carriers, and me. They've got 2 carriers, a battleship, and 2 cruisers. So I have a choice to make here. Do I support the Kutuzov, go to D, try and fight the enemies, or do I run over to A as fast as I can to get the capture point back? So I decide to run over to A. Now, some of you might say that's the wrong decision, but it ends up almost working out. You'll see why it's almost in just a minute here. So take a few parting shots at that enemy cruiser and set course for the A capture point. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a session of things that will make you angry. So here I am in another match. There's an enemy capturing our point. I think it's the enemy destroyer, so I'm going to go in there. I'm going to kick his ass. It's going to be great. There's some fighters that are coming over. They're going to spot me, but it doesn't matter. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Why would you do this to me? That's a full health enemy cruiser. Okay, don't panic. I got this. I'm close enough. Torpedoes are almost reloaded. I can charge at him, torpedo him point blank. It's gonna be great. Notice, 6.7 second reload left on the torpedoes. Did he really just destroy both sets of torpedo launchers with one salvo? Really? Okay, it's fine. We've got damage control party. I can repair them. What? 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 But they were at like 6 seconds and now there's a minute. They had to restart. What? Ah. Well, by the time I realized what had just happened, I was already committed to the charge. So, without torpedoes, there's only one thing left to do.
"Forward the light brigade! Charge for the guns!" he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming. So we finally reached the capture point after a minute or two of just straight sailing, and all of the enemies are accounted for except for one cruiser and the carrier. The carrier is not much of a threat to me at the moment, and the cruiser was last spotted heading south from the C capture point. So I think I'm pretty safe capturing A. So I start to turn back around. As soon as I capture A, I want to run back and capture their only remaining point. So our remaining ships, the Kutuzov that helped me earlier with the fighters, and our carriers, are putting up a good fight. They're doing well considering that they're, fighting 2 battleships and 2 cruisers. They'll pop up in just a minute here. Yep, there they are. So having captured A, I'm running straight back to capture the last point, capture C. And I'm pretty sure our Kutuzov's gonna die, and one of our carriers is gonna die. And that last cruiser, hopefully, is heading over to help his allies. Rounding the corner here, not spotted by aircraft yet, although there are some aircraft lurking around here. Rounding the corner when all of a sudden, hey, that reminds me of something. I wonder what it is. But he's only on a few hundred health. I can take him high explosive to the superstructure. Come on, that should be able to kill him. One more shot. One more shot. Come on, come on. Get him. There we go. Narrowly avoid the torpedoes. I forgot he had those. And I can capture this point. I can capture C, although they have captured D. Put some torpedoes out in case he decides to come back this way. Maybe they'll hit him. And take some parting shots at that enemy battleship. Our cruiser's been destroyed, but the carriers are still alive. Even if we lose a ship, I think we should be able to come back. If we have 3 bases and they have 1, so we're running points 3 times as fast as them, we should be able to get to 1,000 first. So it's around here that I have a moment of indecision. So do I go after the battleships? Do I try to sink the battleships? Or do I try and chase the carrier? So you can see I start to turn towards the battleships, but I stop. I hesitate, and I decide not to. Now, you can see up in the minimap, one of our carriers is getting absolutely ruined by those fighters over there, or by the enemy aircraft, and he is going to get sunk. But we should have, because we sunk one of their cruisers, the other cruiser, should still be able to come back. Take some parting shots at him as I decide not to go after the battleships and turn towards where I last saw the carrier aircraft heading. So you can see there's a dive bomber just popped up on the map. I'm trying to follow him, see where he's moving. And all of a sudden, there's some torpedo bombers and other aircraft. Okay, no, not doing this. We can't lose another ship. So, turn away from it. You know, I think I can dodge it. Then another squadron shows up. Dive bombers and torpedo bombers. Nah, not doing this. So, pop the smoke, slow down. Narrowly avoid that set of torpedoes. And turn on the anti-aircraft. And even with the anti-aircraft on, I'm not spotted in this smoke screen. So, that's good. Some of our fighters come in to try and fight the enemy, but it's not enough. He doesn't have enough fighters. So take some more, use some more torpedoes. I pop out of the smoke screen here to fire torpedoes at that battleship that's coming back, and that may have cost us the game. But nope, no, I get back in the smoke screen. Misses me with the bombs. I don't know if those torpedoes will hit. They probably won't, but whatever. It's getting very close. Points are very close. We should be able to win. We just passed them on points. Torpedoes. I start to move forward, then I hesitate. I start to move back. Try to avoid them. I avoid the first one, but run myself into the second one. Lost the game. Still a good result, though. I mean, 450,000 credits, 34,000 experience, almost 100 hits. Shot down some aircraft, too. Lots of fires. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to try to make videos weekly, so subscribe for that, and leave a comment below with any suggestions you might have. This is Falcon Flight 2000, signing off.